Pokemon Champions has now been released and there have been some huge changes for competitive moves. The move knockoff now removes your item even if you fainted to something like Rough Skin. Rapid Spin now works the same way. If you go for Rapid Spin and you would have fainted to an ability like Rough Skin, you can still get rid of hazards, and this was not how it was in previous games. And there's something going on with the ability Unnerve, which normally prevents you from eating berries. Some Pokemon with abilities are not affected, so let's get into it. These are some pretty big changes to competitive Pokemon, and I want to know your thoughts, so let me know down below. And if you do enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like, and if you want to go to the extra mile, feel free to subscribe, as I'm on my way to 500,000 subs, and you can help me get there, but no pressure, don't feel like you have to. Anyway, I'm going to go in the order of Rapid Spin, then I'll talk about Knockoff, and moves kind of associated with it. Same thing with Rapid Spin and moves associated with that, like Mortal Spin, and then we'll talk about Unnerve. And Rapid Spin, the way it previously worked is, let's say you had Stealth Rock and Spikes on your side of the field, and then your opponent had a Rough Skin Rocky Helmet Garchomp. I'm just saying Rocky Helmet even though it's not currently in Pokemon Champions. It will be added. They have it on the picture, but it's not in the game. So the way it worked is if you went for Rapid Spin, but you would die to Rough Skin, you would not actually be Rapid Spinning away your hazards. At the end of the turn, your hazards would still be on your side of the field, or the hazards your opponent set up. And that was a great way to what we call spin block in competitive Pokemon. And spin blocking is basically preventing your opponent from going for Rapid Spin. You can do this with a Ghost, and you could do this with abilities like Rough Skin, Iron Barbs, and again, items like Rocky Helmet. But this changes the whole dynamic of things. Now you can no longer sack a Pokemon or keep a Pokemon alive in order to prevent entry hazards from going off your opponent's side of the field, right? Entry hazards are some of the most important, if not the most important moves in the game in singles. In doubles, obviously not as much, though there are entry hazards from Pokemon like Garganacl and Glamora, which is funny because they do the exact same thing in singles, whether it be 6v6 or 3v3. But this is a really big buff to Rapid Spin, and maybe Mortal Spin as well, because it has the exact same properties. I would have to test that out, and I will test that out in Pokemon Champions, so I'll let you know either in a video or someone can let me know if they tested it out before me down below. I just have to get a Glamora into the game. But what do you think about Rapid Spin? Again, changes the whole dynamic of it. Now, this is the more interesting one in my opinion. I mean, that was also a very interesting one, but the fact now that you knock off an item and when you would die, again, previously how it worked is that when you knocked off the item and you would die to Rough Skin plus Rocky Helmet, you would not knock off the opponent's item. This would allow the opponent to still keep their keep their Rocky Helmet, or keep their leftovers if they were running leftovers on Garchomp or anything like that, or on Ferrothorn. And it also worked for moves like Ceaseless Edge, right? The way Ceaseless Edge would work is if you attacked into a Pokemon Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, but you would die, you actually did not get up the spike that Ceaseless Edge was supposed to get up. This works the exact same way for Stone X as well. But in this one, assuming knockoff, and we know knockoff because we have video proof, we know that knockoff works the way it does now. This means that I'm assuming all contact moves do the exact same thing. So I assume Ceaseless Edge is also in the exact same thing. I'll also be testing that as well. We just know that confirm knockoff and confirm Rapid Spin. Again, a really big one too, because one of the ways to deal with Samurai Sui in 6v6 OU situation was you'd use a Choice Band Ogerpon lead, you would U-turn on a Focus Sash Samurott, they would be Focus Sash so they could survive the hit and get up the spike, and you would U-turn out into a Rocky Helmet Pokemon, and Samurott would die to the Rocky Helmet, thus preventing it from getting up said spike. So this again changes those dynamics. Now you can have a Pokemon that can always get up a spike, provided it lands, of course, by attacking. So of course, let me know your thoughts on that. Big shout out to Glory for finding out the mechanic and provided video proof, and big shout out to Stallion as well for finding out the Rapid Spin and putting that all in the Smogon research mechanics. And we have a few more things that we want to talk about as well. So Leonard Kraft, aka the Wobbuffet, they're a researcher, they're incredible, they've done some great things for Pokemon, VGC, singles, all of it. And they found out what may be a bug with Unnerve, but it also could just be a nerf in general. And I'll tell you in a second why I think it could also be a nerf. But the way Unnerve works is that if you send out Pokemon like Aerodactyl, and I put the standard Aerodactyl set that people are running in VGC, so if you want a set to copy, this is a good set. The idea is that you live every hit and you get up Tailwind. It's the fastest Tailwind user that is not Prankster like Whimsicott, or has priority like Talonflame on their abilities to be able to get up Tailwind. It also obviously threatens Pokemon like Mega Charizard Y, Incineroar, and the like with Rock Slide. It's also faster than Sneasel. I'm just giving you some reasons why people use this Pokemon. Wide Guard and Taunt are also moves that use. This allows you to avoid Fake Out. But I kind of feel like I should tell you, because like, why is this here? Why is this set? And why didn't you do that with the others? Because these are used, but they don't use these as much in VGC. They don't use these in VGC. They use this in VGC, but they don't use Rapid Spin in VGC. But this is the Aerodactyl set. So the way Unnerve works is that if Aerodactyl's on the field, typically if you have a Citrus Berry, a Resist Berry, whatever berry you have, and this is the berry meta when it comes to Pokemon Champions. If you have any berry, you will not be able to eat it while Aerodactyl is on the field. Even if I knock you into Citrus Berry range, you will not be able to eat the berry until Aerodactyl either switches out or faints. And that's when the berry would automatically be consumed in a case of a Citrus Berry. So it works really well with Aero because it threatens Pokemon like Sinistcha and things like that, or it did. However, and I've had this on my streams as well, Unnerve sometimes doesn't prevent Pokemon from eating berries in Pokemon Champions. Certain Pokemon with entrance abilities somehow ignore Unnerve, suppressing berries and eat them anyway. I got Sinistcha, Pelipper, Politoed, and Torkoal to bypass it, and it makes sense. Hospitality is an ability that activates upon entrance. Pelipper Drizzle, and Torkoal has Drought. And then this is really, I'll show you guys the video in a second, but this is really interesting too, because I assume interesting abilities have something to do with it. A non-Drizzle Pelipper, for example, did not ignore Unnerve. Politoed Pelipper would not ignore Unnerve unless they were the ones to set up the rain with Drizzle. And in that case, he sent out, Pelipper, and then later would send out Politoed, who also has Drizzle, but obviously Drizzle didn't activate, and then it wouldn't be able to eat the berries. So let's look at this video real quick. But this is, I'll go real quick. So you said nervous to eat berries, right? Drought activated. Sinistcha activated. We saw that Aerodactyl made them nervous to do the berries, and they're just going to take, I'm just going to turn off the volume real quick, but basically they're just going to take a lot of damage. You're going to have Sinistcha eat its Colba Berry on the dual Wing Beat immediately, disrespecting Unnerve immediately right in front of that, and then Torkoal is going to be able to get its Citrus Berry now from Garchomp's Earthquake, and activates it once again in front of Aerodactyl. So this is a pretty big nerf to Unnerve, and it also obviously could be a bug in the game, right? And I just want to also note, he goes on to say that this doesn't work with certain other abilities. It doesn't work for Typhlosion's Frisk. It didn't work with Incineroar's Intimidate. Good. Good. That Pokemon, even without knockoff and U-turn, it's still on 50% of teams, and it's still good as hell. So there's a whole footage about it. I'll leave his Twitter down below, and you can go through the entire thing if you really want to. But this could be just a bug with the game. There are a lot of bugs with Pokemon Champions. We're having like Fake Out, Go Through, Protect. We're also having Fake Out, not flinch Pokemon like Mega Charizard Y. So there's a lot of interesting things that are happening in the game. However, there is one thing that I could think of as to why this could simply just be an ability nerf, and that's because of how oppressive a certain Unnerved Pokemon is called Calyrex, right? So Calyrex, Ice, and Shadow Rider have as one, which combines Unnerve and Chillinay, or Grimnay, or whatever, with the other. Are they both the same? It's been a bit. Grimnay, yeah. Chillinay and Grimnay, thank you. So the way it works is it would give you the boost whenever you get up attack, your special attack or your attack boost. And it would also help you ignore berries. So berries like citrus and stuff kind of became non-existent. At some points, you'd have Assault Vests, and you'd have like your seeds, like electric seeds and things like that to help you. But berries kind of became non-existent. So this could have been a nerf to Unnerve simply because these two were so oppressive that they got rid of the berry meta. And considering Pokemon Champions has such limited items, right? It has such limited items. You're basically forced to have berries. I will still complain every single day that Oran Berry is in the game, right? I understand all the other berries, but you didn't give me every berry. Where's my Moronga Berry for my Spadef on my Garganico, which was already nerfed with Saltcure? Sorry, I'm on a rant with that. But why did you give me Oran Berry in a metagame where everything's level 50? I can't even use baby Pokemon. I can't play no Little Cup or anything. Why is Oran Berry in the game? I'm sorry. Anyway, this is just, it could have just been a nerf simply because of the Unnerve ability. And I want to know your thoughts on that. Do you think it's a bug, which is more likely, or do you think this is intentional, right? So let me know your thoughts on that down below. Either way, it's a pretty big change. It allows Sinistcha and a lot of other Pokemon to function. Sinistcha's the big one. Sinistcha is almost always running Citrus Berry. Its Hospitality ability coming in, being able to heal its teammates are super strong for the rest of its team in the rest of the battle. So that's a really, really big one. And yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. That's all I have for y'all. Feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you guys with a battle video later. Peace.